Welcome everybody, and thank you so much for attending this meeting where we are going to present the rePLANT Doctoral Training Program. Just very briefly to see the agenda for the meeting today is this. First, we will present the program. After that, all the participants will present their entities and their potential contributions. First, the implementing partners, and after, the associated partners. Just for you to be aware, this presentation is being recorded and it will be uploaded in the rePLANT website. Well, let's go. The rePLANT doctoral program is an action funded by the European Commission in the context of the Marie Curie co-fund actions. And these kind of actions promote the training, career development, and with a strong component of international and interdisciplinarity and intersectoral mobility. This project will start officially at the moment of the student join the institution. It will be in October 2023. And it would last 60 months. This program will be implemented mainly by 3 entities from the applied science field in academia, and those are the Center for Research in Agricultural Genomics is the coordinator, and the Max Planck Institute for plant breeding research, and the Journey Center. In addition, we have 23 associated partners from several sectors to boost this multidisciplinarity and intersectoral context. We have companies from the agro and biotech and technological sector, farmer organizations, of course, other research centers, bioinformatics and technology companies, some government and administration body, and multi-actor and multidisciplinary institutions. rePLANT, to focus on the program, this program is designed to conduct and train in this interdisciplinary and intersectoral research through the development of mainly collaborative research projects and research stays or secondments. In particular, the rePLANT program will offer 14 pre-doctoral grants. Those are 4 years full contract employment contracts at CRAG and at Max Planck. 6 in the case of CRAG and 8 for Max Planck. The doctoral program are, as usual, but these researchers will be enrolled in a doctoral degree program at any of the universities that are collaborating in the project. In the case of those joining CRAG, we are talking about the Autonomous University of Barcelona and the Barcelona University. And in the case of those researchers that are joining Max Planck, the university will be the University of Cologne. There is a main activity within this doctorate program regarding the training. It will offer a strong training program. On one side, a local training on those institutions that where the researcher will join. On one side, at CRAG, Max Planck, with the collaboration of Journines. And in addition, all the researchers will benefit from the Max Planck Society Planck Academy. Beyond that, there is a rePLANT training program that is structured in 2 weeks, where all the rePLANT researchers will join to perform this joint training. It will be organize 1 week in one training week in Barcelona and the other training week in Cologne. The subject of this training goes from transversal skills to more specific fields. For example, as you can see in the presentation, from open science, personal resilience, skills related to presentation, professional development, ethics, and good practices, statistics, bioinformatics, and so on, IP, patenting, transferring knowledge, all this kind of subjects. So how can join people who is interested in joining the program? The rePLANT program will launch a call in the coming weeks, and there are some requirements for students to apply. All the information will be in the rePLANT website, all the details, but in general terms, people who is interested need to know that they, of course, cannot be in a position of a doctoral degree. They must hold a degree that allows their admission to the official doctoral program at the university they are interested in. This is important. There is a rule regarding the mobility, and they cannot have reside or been working in the country where they are going to apply, the country of their recruiting institution, for more than 2 months in the 3 years before the call deadline. And it's open, it's an open call to any researcher from any nationality, but of course, they will need to prove minimum level of English in the program will be performing in English. So that's all on my side. As I said, you have all the information about the rePLANT program in the website, all the details of the call and the people involved, the entities involved are there. And if you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact us. So after this brief presentation of the program, I would like to give the floor to Maria Lois, who will present the coordinator of the entity coordinator of the program, CRAG. So Maria, when you want, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marta. Okay, let's see if it opens. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this kickoff meeting for the rePLANT program. As Marta said, I'm here as a director of CRAG, and I'm going to present very briefly which are our research lines and who we are. CRAG is a consortium of 4 institutions that are the major, one is CSIC, that is the Spanish Research Council, one of the major institutions of research in Spain. Then we have the IRTA, that is a public company that the main goal is to provide solutions to the agriculture sector, agri-food sector, and doing research oriented in this following this goal. And then the 2 major universities in Catalonia and also in Spain, that is the University Autonomous of Barcelona and the University of Barcelona. We have been granted with the Tesoro Award for Centers of Research Excellence in Spain, and when we look to the CERCA research system in Catalonia. CRAG was founded more than 10 years ago, and the activities resides in 3 main pillars. One is to generate fundamental knowledge of excellence, to conduct translational research in collaboration with companies, And the third one is to train the future leaders to meet the social challenges related to food security and bioeconomy, which this third pillar is very much related to the rePLANT program that we are looking at today. In general, the main goal of CRAG is to contribute to a sustainable agri-food sector. And for doing that, we are specialized in three different areas, which is development and productivity, plant-environment interactions, and also molecular machines. In these areas, we contribute to these areas by being organized in 4 distinct research programs that are plant and animal genomics, plant development and signal transduction, plant responses to stress, and plant synthetic biology and metabolic engineering. And all these programs are constituted by 24 different independent research groups that contribute to these different specific interests in the research programs, approaching the different research areas. At CRAG, we have different models, and the research is distributed between 50% of the research dedicated to farm animals and the rest dedicated to plants, including plant models, but also crops. For doing that, we count with the support of these 4 technical platforms that are the greenhouses, which include in vitro culture, gene editing, growth chambers that reproduce extreme environment conditions, which are very useful for designing experiments to identify the traits of plants that will confer resilience to the climate change that we are confronting to. And also we are starting to develop, we have a minimal algae growth facility, and this is something that we like to expand in the near future. Also, we have the imaging facility that provide technical support for developing assays based on luminescence and fluorescence, histology and in situ hybridization, and also optical confocal super resolution microscopy. Then we have the genomics area that provides support for conducting high throughput gene expression experiments, capillary sequencing, and also genotyping. And finally, we have a very important area related with bioinformatics that provides support by sustaining a cluster, and also providing support programming for doing the analysis that the research required for that data analysis, but also we have a great support for performing data analysis of all the data generated in the other platforms. CRAG is an international institute, and we have people from many places on the world, as you can see here. And also we are very active establishing collaborations with other institutes. Mainly these are the major ones at the level of the center, with other centers in Europe, but also the individual researchers have multiple collaborations with many places, many leading research institutes in the plant and animal research field. As I said, one of the main pillars of CRAG is related with training, and for that we coordinate a master degree in collaboration with the 2 universities that are belonging to the consortium, which is the Plant Biology, Genomics, and Biotechnology, and we contribute not only to the coordination, but also we teach more than 1/3 of the subjects that are taught there, and also provide guidance for the experimental project for most of the students that participate in the master. If you want to expand or to know more about us, you can check our webpage and also the last biennial report that it is also uploaded in the webpage. And with that, thank you for your attention, and you are welcome to approach us to any of the researchers that are at CRAG. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. Well, now it's time for for Max Planck. Stefan, please share your perfect. We can see your
presentation
now.
Already, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Marta, for introducing me and for giving me the opportunity to present the second partner, the Max Planck Institute for Plant Breeding Research. I'm Stefan Wagner, I'm the PhD coordinator at the Institute, and I would like to start the presentation with a very brief introduction into the Max Planck Society. So named after Max Planck, it's important to say that institutes in that society mostly conduct basic fundamental research in contrast to other research institutions in Germany. The Max Planck Society contains 86 institutes in total, most of them located in Germany. And 2 of the Max Planck Institutes are fully dedicated to the plant sciences. One is the Max Planck Institute for Molecular Plant Physiology in Cologne, close to Berlin, and our Max Planck Institute for Plant Breeding Research in Cologne. The Institute has a mission to study fundamental plant biology and focuses on processes that are important for plant breeding, with the aim to transform plant breeding into more predictive and rational science. So what you can see here is basically a history of the directors, and you can see that from the 1980s onwards, the Institute has more and more focused on genetics and genomics, although it's important to say that we use very different approaches to study fundamental traits in plants. The Institute, as you can see here, is located in the periphery of Cologne. We have a lot of space to grow plants and for greenhouses. We have about 360 staff members in total, and our postdocs, 60 of them, and the 80 PhD students on campus make a major contribution, obviously, to the research that we do. The researchers are organized in 4 scientific departments that you can see here on the right. Miltos Siantis was recruited in 2013 and runs the Department of Comparative Development and Genetics. Paul Schulze-Lefert is head of the Plant Microbe Interaction Department. George Coupland is director of the Plant Developmental Biology Department. And our most recent appointment was Raphael Messier, who heads the Chromosome Biology Department. We have 20 research groups in total, and all groups either belong fully to one of these departments or are associated to one of the departments. There's a lot of cross-departmental collaboration at the Institute, and I think it's safe to say that the Institute creates a very stimulating, challenging intellectual place to do research for young scientists. The scientific departments are supported by scientific service groups. We have the so-called Genome Center on site that supports generation and analysis of next-generation sequencing data. We have the so-called SAMIC microscopy unit that supports users in imaging and image analysis. And we have one research group which simultaneously is a service group for protein mass spectrometry on site. Since we are located in the periphery of the city, we are largely autonomous, and researchers have access to a long list of general services, including, for instance, our greenhouses and greenhouse management. Some of the greenhouse area actually cannot see on that aerial image here. We have the IT services that support, daily IT issues, but also high throughput computing, and obviously the PhD office to support students on site. The Institute is scientifically characterized by the 4 departments that are briefly introduced, and these departments try to address different yet complementary research questions. So Paul Schulze-Lefert's Department of Plant Microbe Interaction wants to understand how plants defend themselves against pathogens while simultaneously being able to use beneficial microbes. The Department of George Coupland for Plant Developmental Biology tries to understand how plant growth and development is shaped by environmental cues. Miltos Siantis' Department of Comparative Development and Genetics wants to understand how biological forms arise in plants and what the basis for the diversity of these forms is. And Raphael Messier's Department of Chromosome Biology wants to understand how genetic information is transmitted in plants and modified over several generations. So these 4 departments investigate different plant traits, and I wanted to give you a few examples. One, for instance, would be pathogen resistance. Another one would be flowering time, the leaf shape of plants, and then also the chromosomal crossovers. And I wanted to say this since a very common strategy of the Institute is to try to understand how these traits have diversified in plants. So many groups use established model organisms such as Arabidopsis thaliana or relatives from the Brassicaceae family such as Arabis alpina or Cadamine hirsuta. And we try to understand the mechanisms of trait diversification within and between species. Essentially want to ask whether similar mechanisms or perhaps even the same mechanisms are used when traits arise independently in plants. We want to see whether the mechanisms of trait diversification are predictable and whether there are any constraints on trait diversification. So essentially, we want to contribute to making the transfer of such traits possible across species border as a basis for modern plant breeding strategies. And this also sets the stage for the field of reconstruction biology. So this is the sort of scientific scheme behind the rePLANT program. And the Institute already conducts construction biology at very different levels, from intracellular signaling pathways to entire ecosystems in microbes. The Institute, as I've briefly outlined before, uses established evolutionary frameworks, for instance, a comparison between simple and compound leaves in plants. And we assume that the models that we can infer from the analysis of these evolutionary frameworks allows us to make predictions on the potential and constraints of trait diversification in plants across species borders. And this, as I briefly said before, enables directed evolution of plant and microbial traits and is an important contribution to directed plant breeding. We do this together with a cluster of excellence, C+, the only plant-focused cluster of excellence in Germany. We, another research institution close to Cologne, and 2 universities in Cologne and in Düsseldorf are C+ members. And one area of research in the C+ cluster is on constructing, for instance, plant traits. The C+ cluster has been established basically a decade ago, and the more than 50 research groups have made the Cologne area one of the hotspots in the plant sciences in Europe. So we are very lucky to actually be integrated member of that C+ cluster. One particularly important member of that C+ cluster, and Marta said that in the very beginning, is the University of Cologne. So almost all of our PhD students at the institutes are enrolled as doctoral students at the Cologne University, one of Germany's largest and oldest universities. And the students accordingly have full access to the graduate centers at the university and department level. They have access to, for instance, mentoring programs and also services such as the international office. So together with the University of Cologne, we run a PhD program with about 90 students, and similar to the CRAG, it's very international. So here you can see a picture from our last PhD student retreat, and you see the particularly international 2022 class of PhD students. It's fair to say that more than 2/3 of our PhD students come from abroad and make our institute a very international, very open, and very stimulating environment. The graduate program coordinates supervision of students. All of our students are supervised through advisory committees of experts to who they regularly report and who they regularly meet. The graduate program offers training, and training is simultaneously offered by the University of Cologne and, as Marta outlined in the beginning, by the Planck Academy, a central support unit of the Max Planck Society. Our graduate program organizes events such as welcome days for students, PhD retreats, regular seminars for early career researchers, and also career events and series. And we do also obviously support students. We make sure that students are financially secured, have administrative support when, for instance, onboarding to Germany, have a travel budget to attend scientific meetings. We offer language classes on site and also give students access to mentoring programs. I wanted to say about our institute, same here. If you have any follow-up questions on the presentation, you can visit our homepage. We also have these biannual reports that you can look at, and you can obviously contact the PhD office if you have any follow-up questions on my presentation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Now is the turn of Anthony from John Innes Center. Okay, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. So I'm Anthony Dodd, and I'm a research group leader at the John Innes Centre, and I'm also head of Department of Cell and Developmental Biology currently. So I was involved in developing the original rePLANT funding proposal in conjunction with CRAG and the Max Planck Institute. So just like to say something about the John Innes Centre by way of an introduction. So the John Innes Centre is an international centre for excellence in plant sciences and in microbial sciences as well. We're located in the east of England, just outside the city of Norwich. So that's about 1.5 hours by train from London, and about 1 hour from Cambridge as well. So we're quite well interconnected with other academic organisations in the southeast of England. The John Innes Centre actually has quite a long and interesting history. It started as the John Innes Institute and was based in London. And here's just a few interesting examples from the history of the Institute. So on the left of your screen is a letter that was written by the first director of the John Innes Institute, William Bateson, and it's thought to be the first use of the word genetics in biology. And then the John Innes Centre also has been really very much involved in plant breeding programs that have led to a lot of crops that are used widely as food crops. So on the top right of your screen there's a picture of kind of a meal, and really apart from the meat that's there, absolutely everything else, such as the Maris Piper potatoes and the small leaf peas, from breeding programs that ran at the John Innes Institute. And down in the bottom right here, we're referring to the development of streptomycin antibiotics, which has occurred through microbial research that's taken place at the John Innes also. The science that occurs at the John Innes Centre really has substantial global impact, and not wishing to aggravate anyone that might be on the call here, here's one summary of the kind of the academic impact of the publication output of the John Innes Centre and how it compares with a number of other leading institutes. So this is based on citations, so mainly the relevance of our science within the academic community. And that sits alongside the kind of socio-economic impact of the work that we do as well. The science at the John Innes Centre is organised around 4 overarching strategic themes that represent the basis of our funding from the BBSRC, which is one of the main UK government science funding agencies. The science is organised around these 4 sort of strategic themes, and research in each of these themes runs all the way from fundamental discovery science through to translational and applied science, and also some commercial activities as well. So the Genes in the Environment programme is focused on how plants respond to their fluctuating environments, and includes things such as the gene regulation programs and epigenetic programs that define plant development. The plant health program concerns both plant disease and plant interaction with beneficial microorganisms in the environment, and is a joint program between the John Innes Centre and the neighbouring Sainsbury laboratory, which is focused on plant disease and immune responses. The Molecules from Nature program focuses on plant primary and secondary metabolites, and also microbial natural products that are interesting at the level of their biosynthesis and metabolism and their roles in environmental adaptation, but also might potentially have important commercial applications of socioeconomic importance. And finally, there's the Designing Future Wheat program, which is a major program that's led from the John Innes Centre and includes a number of other research organisations in the UK, and is focused around fundamental and applied aspects of developing better performing and high yielding wheat for the future, whilst understanding its underlying biology. Sitting across all of these themes is a vision that we call healthy plants, healthy people and healthy planet. So we think that the underpinning research that is occurring at the John Innes Centre and the pathways that we have to translate that research into commercial and societal benefits is enabling us to deliver in future a healthier society and a healthier planet through our fundamental underlying research on plant and microbial sciences. And this really is focused on tackling a number of major global risks that will have impacts for centuries in the future, including feeding the world. And that's not just in developed countries. We have connections with a variety of less developed countries that we're deploying our work through collaboration, and combating global health threats through the development of more nutritious crops and also products that can be used in biomedicine, and also understanding how plants can be used to combat climate change and developing crops that will perform very well in future climates. The John Innes Centre, the population here varies between about 360 and 400, or just over 400 people, with the majority of the staff being postdoctoral research staff and support staff. This includes the support staff that run our excellent technology platforms that support the research groups. We have excellent bioimaging facilities and horticulture facilities alongside our metabolomics and proteomics facilities, a superb informatics service that can perform not only bioinformatics work, but quantitative modeling sorts of work, like approaches like machine learning. And we have really good biophysical analysis and structural biology platform as well. Alongside these employees, there's up to about 100 PhD students at the John Innes Centre at any one time. These students are funded through a variety of different programs, including generous contributions from the John Innes Foundation and another PhD program funded by the UK BBSRC. And we receive funding from the Wellcome Trust, and now there's also the exciting rePLANT program that we are participating in as a collaborator, and we're happy to host students for part of their PhD at the John Innes Centre. We're very international. At the moment, we have students from around 35 different countries conducting their PhDs at the John Innes, and the population of group leaders is extremely internationally diverse, and diverse in a variety of other ways as well, which brings, if you have a diversity of people, it brings a bigger diversity of ideas into the scientific programs. The Institute's organised into 5 academic departments, and here I've summarised the 5 academic departments. Each of these departments consists of a substantial number in some cases, of different research groups focused on different research areas. The academic departments are co-located around the Institute, so they're not in separate buildings. We really all talk to each other. The names of the heads of department are along the top, and Professor Graham Moore in the Department of Crop Genetics, who's joining us today, is the Institute Director. So you're welcome to contact any of the group leaders if you think you could develop a collaborative program with them. So the John Innes Centre is not by itself. We're located on the Norwich Research Park, and on the Norwich Research Park is a number of other organisations that adds considerable synergy to what we are able to do. This includes the Sainsbury Laboratory, which is focused on plant health and plant disease, and the Earlham Institute, which is a genome science and data science research institute, the Quadram Institute, which is focuses on human nutrition, and we're also positioned alongside the University of East Anglia, which is where our students are registered, and the University of East Anglia has superb research programs in international development and in climate change as well, which many of our group leaders engage with and collaborate with in a constructive way. So our students have access to facilities at the John Innes Centre, including our social facilities, which includes swimming pool and a bar and a variety of other social facilities, and they also have access to all of the facilities at the University of East Anglia and the student support services that are also provided through the university. So I think I'd like to leave it there. What I would mention is that this is probably the largest cluster of plant scientists in the UK are based around the Norwich Research Park, and also probably the largest cluster of microbiology researchers are also located here. So this kind of really intense, concentrated cluster allows us to have synergies and to develop programs much more rapidly than might be possible elsewhere. Thank you.
Many thanks, Anthony. Now it's time, as we said before, there is a relevant contribution from other partners beyond the three entities that are going to implement directly this program. All those associated partners will contribute to boost this multi-sectorality and interdisciplinarity within the program. So let's start. We have a small representation today of them, and the first will be Simon. I saw you here from Protocusar. The floor is yours. Okay.
Hi,
Thank you,
yes.
Simon. Please, if you need to share your screen or presentation, you can do it.
Okay, yes, I will try. I apologize because I really wasn't able to send the presentation before, but I think, yeah,
Okay. I think we lost Simon. Is frozen only for me, or
no, it's frozen.
okay?
It's frozen, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I'm going to try to contact him. Okay. Well.
Yes, sorry for that.
You can share your screen if it's easier for you, or you can send me the presentation and maybe we can pass your presentation at the end, as you prefer.
Sorry, yes, give me just 1 second because the presentation here and everything was right, but it's getting a little complicated. Okay, so.
No worries. It happens. Okay, now we can see the PDF.
You can?
We can see the PDF version. I don't know if you can go through the full presentation or that perfect. Now.
You see in this? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me present myself. Yes, I am Simon Pereira. I am the Business Development Manager of ProtoQuser. We are happy to be a part of this project as an external partner, let's say. What we do is what is expressed here. We do computational technologies, so chemoinformatics and bioinformatics, molecular modeling, to create, design, or optimize better and safer, so less toxic molecules. We do this computationally, so with computers, that's in silico. We work with different types of molecules, from small organic molecules to peptides, nanomaterials, and mixtures. And some of these types of molecules, I think, are of interest to the project. You see my slides moving, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
We do.
Okay, perfect. So a little bit about us. We are a small company based in Valencia. We were founded about 10 years ago in 2012. And we are a team of about 15 to 20 people with lots of scientific papers that back our expertise and projects in which we normally and usually participate and collaborate. We have a strong network of partners and clients. That's just a little cat from that, where you can see the associations in which we form part. And here is an explanation of what we do. So in silico models, computational biology, computational chemistry, we do that because it allows to have more reliable, more economical, and faster results. Of course, we are not enemies of in vitro or in vivo experiments. We still need them to build our models and to validate our models. So we believe in a collaboration where in silico and computational methods are joined with in vitro and in vivo methods for overall a more reliable, economical, faster, and sustainable research. Here's some of the sustainable development goals that we strongly pursue with our work. And one of these things are avoiding the negative impact of animal tests, especially for health issues, and that has some relations with plant biology, because sometimes from analyzing plant biology, we can work for improving human or veterinary health. So about our technology, very briefly, our main field of expertise is QSAR modeling. That's in our name. QSAR means quantitative structure activity relationship. So what we basically do is we build models that allow us to predict the properties of molecules: physicochemical, therapeutic, toxicological, ecotoxicological, and other properties. We gather known information on chemical structures and properties of molecules. We apply machine learning and other statistical techniques, and we, in the end, get these models that allow us to predict the properties in molecules in which these properties are not known. We do this constantly, and this has allowed us to create a platform where you can use many of our models in a very easy and user-friendly way, which is ProtoPred. This is just for your knowledge. Then we are also experts in molecular modeling. So we use several techniques such as molecular docking, molecular dynamics, pharmacophores, homology modeling, and so on, in order to analyze in depth the relationship between different types of molecules, both for potential drugs, potential chemical, industrial applications, biocides, fertilizers, and so on. So in order to get ending. We apply this in several different business areas, such as health, drug development, nanotechnology, regulatory toxicology, and agri-food is one of them. We have participated in several agri-food projects, but as I don't want to take much time, you can ask us for this presentation or to learn a little bit more. I only want to give the highlights of some of these projects. So in this bioactive DPPRED, we worked with natural compounds in order to find potential interesting compounds for treating diabetes. In the Combase project, we worked to develop a platform in which we analyzed all types of products that could be biocides in order to predict some of their properties of interest for the biocide regulation. In the EcoPest project, we developed organic pesticides against the greening disease of citrus, and we worked with several compounds, and we validated in the end some of them. We have also worked to develop compounds from plants in order to treat some diseases in animals, farm animals, such as in the PharmaVet project. And we have also worked to develop natural compounds that can fight some of, a plague, in this case of palms, the red palm weevil, the picudo rojo in Spanish. So yes, this is some of the projects. As you can see, we have many publications. You can look for us, or we can send all the information that you need. And as a couple of last slides, answering some of the questions that you make to us for this consortium, we work to creating QSAR models, validating them, using them, creating platforms where they are used, and also applying molecular modeling techniques to analyze in depth the relationships between molecules and biological proteins or other targets. And of course, the challenges that we have is building more molecules, coding more things, getting more data to create the models, to validate the models. And that are some of the tasks that can be accomplished with us in the frame of this and other projects. So that would be it from me. We're very happy to collaborate with all of you and to be in as close contact with the PhD researchers as they will want. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon, for your presentation. And now is the time for Nuria from the Catalan Institute of Nanoscience and Nanotechnology. I cannot, here, I can see you now, yeah. Nuria. Okay, yeah. The floor is yours.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me. Can you confirm that I shared my presentation? Okay.
Yes, we can.
So my name is Nuria Benitez. I work at the ICN2, the Catalan Institute for Nanoscience and Nanotechnology, and I work at the strategy development team, and we usually support our research groups on the preparation and implementation of co-funds projects, and this is why I am I was invited here today. The ICN2 is a research center. It is also a CERCO center, as CRAG is, and we are very closely located. We are nearly neighbors at the campus of UAB, and our mission is to open and explore new frontiers on the knowledge of the nanoscale, and then bring value to society from this knowledge. We are a research center initially mostly focused on basic research at the nanoscale, but currently moving forward to more a more transferable research on different fields, mostly on the health or medicine topics, information and computational systems, and also on energy fields, and so also some more environmental related fields. As I said, we are at the UAB campus, as CRAG is, and we have built a very strong relationships with the university and with other very important infrastructures at the campus, like the ALBA, where we have currently a very important piece of equipment. This is just an overview of our relationships in a more local point of view. We are part of the Barcelona Institute of Science and Technology. That is the joint effort of the most important Catalan centers on the research field, with the UAB and with Barcelona Global. That is a network of interesting organizations in Barcelona. And we are a CERCO center, a member of the Acer Association, but we are also a CSIC related center, because they are in our board of trustees. And as we are a SOMA Severo Ochoa center, we are also a SOMA center too. Also very well connected at the European level, and this is a little of our relations on EU projects. I also talked about BEAST and the SOMA Alliance, that is the alliance of all Severo Ochoa and María de Maeztu centers. And we are also a work package leader in the Graphene flagship, one of the major EU projects running today. Some figures from us. We are around 300 people, 280 really hired by the Institute, but some others from other organizations. We collect around 2,000 citations per year from around 200 publications. We have 20 research groups, and a budget around 10 million euros per year. Sorry. Regarding our capacities on training PhD students, we are running a PhD program at the Institute that ensures us the quality of the program for our students, and also brings a lot of training on some of the training topics that Marta already mentioned, on the not only on the scientific field, but also on some transversal topics. And we are a Severo Ochoa recognized center. We are now starting our third consecutive Severo Ochoa award. And in this case, the main topic is to grow our research and to bring the solutions for a more sustainable society in these three application domains. So energy efficiency, information processing, sustainable energy technologies, and nano solutions for medicine, but also have these 4 enabling research areas on nanocharacterization, modeling and simulation for nanotechnologies and nanomaterials, these nanomaterials and nanofabrication, and artificial intelligence on computational platform. For all of these, we do not only have those research groups, but also a research support platform with several facilities that can be very useful. And I think that's all from my side. I tried to do it short because I think we are running out of time. So
thank you, Nuria. I appreciate it. Now, Nick from Euroseed, it's your turn.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Good day, everyone. I will share my screen and my slides.
We can see it.
Perfect. So I am Nick, Manager Research Policy and Project Coordination at Euroseeds. Who are we? Well, we are the European voice of the seed sector in Europe. Our membership exists out of company members that are active in plant breeding related research. And besides that, we have actually as indirect members also the national seed associations, such as, for instance, we have in Spain ANOVE, that is contributing the perspectives. And besides that, we also have members in other parts of the world that we are closely together with, as in general, let's say, the seed sector is a very international sector, and we also do export a lot of materials that are being developed here. So what do we actually cover within our association? So this is, of course, the starting point is the research, that is important for plant improvement, etc. And then the actual breeding happens to develop new elite varieties that can be then launched on the market. But before to do that, of course, we need to produce a lot of seeds of these interesting plant varieties. So seed production and subsequently the processing is important. And then finally, also, of course, the distribution of those seeds. And so there are a lot of, let's say, European regulations in place, checks and balances that follow this entire process. And so that is not only here breeding companies, but so also multiplying companies, collaborations with public research institutes, and then also at the lower end of the value chain, more the farm supply stores, etc. So we are an association, so we are, let's say, supported by our members to speak and represent their interests on their behalf. But besides that, we are also involved in different research projects, or rather say, let's say, European projects that are related to our plant sector. And these are actually mainly Horizon 2020 and now Horizon Europe projects. And just to give you a taste of what we are collaborating on is, for instance, the BREZOV project related to breeding for organic vegetable production, or INVITE, which is more looking at the certification, so variety testing and registration aspects. Then recently we joined another project, Gene Beacon, that is looking at the potential of new genomic techniques to improve plants. And then a recently launched project is PROGRACE, and there we are looking at developing research infrastructure in Europe to have improved access to plant genetic resources. So think about the many gene banks that are here with a lot of plant genetic resources that could be of interest because they harness interesting traits. And now we are also aware of another project that recently was positively evaluated, but of which I cannot disclose more details yet, that will focus on the legumes in Europe. How can we advance breeding for particular legumes in order to have more here European-based production of that? And so What does our association then primarily do in this projects, and where we work together with stakeholders? So a main thing is communication. How can we communicate about the activities of the projects? And besides that, also the dissemination. So that is really focusing on the project's results. How can we help to target the right information, or or let's say rather the project's results to the right target audience? And then a last aspect that we're also a valuable partner in is exploitation, or so making use of the results. That can be a commercial thing. How can we help or give you advice on coming to more a project closer to stage for market release? That can be also a policy recommendation if you would like to advance this the next generation of plant scientists in Europe. We recommend to take into account A, B, and C. So it's really helping to make use of the project's results, and we have dedicated colleagues helping with that. But of course, the most important thing is our membership, which represent a huge diversity across Europe of companies active in plant research, and we are very happy that rePLANT has been accepted for funding, and that we are an associated partner of this project.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for your presentation. And now, Jaron from the College of Arts and Design, Barcelona. You're here. Okay.
Hi, hola, hola.
Hola.
Hi, everybody. Let me share this with you. You see my presentation now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so first say I'm really happy to be here and really happy to be part of this network and project. We are BAU, an arts and design college in Barcelona. And I guess we are the weird partner in this project, but I think it makes sense to be. We are based in the center of Barcelona with three main buildings, mostly studio kind of spaces. And also we got a maker studio, print, fashion, typography, audiovisual labs. And I think what makes us quite different from other design centers here in Spain is that we got the first PhD design and art, and that means that we're training researchers in art and design. And we're doing it always from a very transdisciplinary perspective, because we think and we really believe in this, that the society at the moment we're facing, as a society, we're facing very difficult challenges that go beyond individual disciplines, and that we actually need to generate a knowledge alliance, blending arts, design, science, humanities, in order to address and research some core issues. So what we're trying to do here is build an ecology of forms of learning in order to improve and change how the world is at the moment. We've been developing a PhD program with the RMIT Melbourne, which they got a PRS, practice-based research PhD program. And so with our PhDs goes with them. And we got different kind of research projects, for example, through creative and experimental pedagogies, looking at how color changes the way children learn the world, and through changing their ways of understanding color, how they live the world differently. Or Carla Wasserman, for example, her PhD is on how drawing in scientific labs or with anthropologists can be a very situated way of generating documentation and showing through research projects the power of drawing as a way of learning. At the moment, we got PhD Ana Otero, and she's working with seashells and transforming seashells into ceramic that can be 3D printed. And so she's developing sustainable ceramics out of waste, and looking and working with marine biologists to understand how these objects can then later be put back into the sea, so the seashells go back and disintegrate into the ocean. So it's a very sustainable way of thinking production. Francisco Diaz at the moment is working with children who are missing limbs, doing 3D printed prosthetics, helping them to design their own limbs in a very creative and colorful way. So going beyond medicine and going into an affective dimension of how people imagine their own bodies and can just actually become empowered by designing the limbs that they need. Or, for example, Serafín Álvarez, who is actually working on a PhD in augmented realities and intelligent environments. So he's digitalizing environments and generating ways in which we can live through artificial space. So this is a variety. We got 26 PhDs running at the moment, but these are some examples that I wanted to share with you. And I think what we can sort of open the conversation and where I think we can take part in this is that we can train and generate workshops and creating designing creative research methods that I think we can benefit in your PhDs. We can also provide philosophy and eco-social awareness training courses in which scientific and artistic PhDs can come together. We are developing transdisciplinary research methods, helping people to learn how to work through transdisciplinary, and also we can receive secondments and people interested in doing research and collaborating with artists and designers. And thank you very much. I think I've been in my 5 minutes, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see how we can improve the creativity with your collaborations. Now we still have two more presentations. Romy from HFP.
Yes.
Yes, the floor is yours.
Yes, I can still see some presentation on the screen. I don't know.
Yeah. The previous presentation. If you can't, Jaron, to stop sharing your. Okay.
Thank you. So hi everybody, my name is Romilde Manzoni. You can call me Romy from HFP Consulting. And we are also quite different because we are not doing scientists and we don't even have PhD. So we are also a bit of a weird partner, and I will not have a presentation. I just want to tell you what we do, and feel free to contact us if you are interested to know more about us. So we are HFP Consulting, a company formed in 2005 to fulfill one of the basic needs of scientists, which was to be more happy, basically. I mean, it sounds simple, but what we realize is that as scientists, we have a lot of training, information in scientific knowledge, methodology, etc. But actually, nobody teaches us how to deal with people, how to solve conflict, how to be more happy in our environment, how to negotiate, how to decide what to do next in our career, all these things. And so, and the good news is that there is a lot of knowledge out there. Scientists, we are very smart. I'm saying we because I'm a scientist as a background as well. And so it was just a matter of bringing the knowledge to the smart people as scientists and make people more happy. This is our mission, actually. And we do this providing courses and workshops at all level of career. So starting from master's student and PhD students, which is what we will do, PhD for the rePLANT, up to director, PI, deans of institute at any level of career, and also worldwide, because we realize this is the common needs, independent of the age you have, independent of the stage of your career you are, or where you are situated in the world. And so we offer, I can share with you, actually my idea was to put our website on the chat so you can search easily there if you have some time later. And basically what we will do for rePLANT will be 2 or 3 free courses basically for the PhD students. But we are currently running, for example, Anthony, today our 2 trainers are at Johnny's Center to run a course for female leaders in science. There we will be in spring at CRAG and we'll run a course. I will be in Barcelona to run a course in June for leaders in science. Our way of working is very interactive, so we don't use PowerPoint. That's why I didn't want to use PowerPoint today, to give some kind of example of the way we work. We use flip chart cards. People are moving a lot in the room. We use a lot of real cases, example of people, and do group work and exercise. And I'm really looking forward to work with any of you and with the students. So feel free to get in touch if you don't know about us, to have just an informal chat and know more about us, and looking forward to work with your students as well.
Thank you, Romy, for the introduction of your company. And finally, last but not least, Amrit. Sorry for the small delay. Amrit Nanda
Yes.
from Plant ETP.
Yes, so hello, hello everyone. My name is Amrit Nanda, and I represent a European technology platform called Plants for the Future. So we're based in Brussels, and we work maybe a little bit similar to Nick, who earlier presented. Basically, we represent a group of stakeholders. We are, as I said, multi-stakeholders, so we represent farmers, academia, and the breeding sector. And let me just share my slides before I keep going. There. And basically, what we really do is with our multi-stakeholders, we try to come together, align on our vision of the plant sector, what we would like to see happen, and then we identify the challenges, the bottlenecks, and the needs, both in research and innovation, but also on the policy side. What are the policies that are actually hindering innovation? So we try to develop kind of a foresight of future needs for research and innovation, and then we make recommendations, for example, to the European Commission on what kind of research we think that should be funded, so that they can meet their policy goals, but also that will benefit the plant sector more generally, and eventually also, of course, benefit society. We mobilize innovation actors to get actually things going. And then we also work a lot on communicating science-based evidence, so really trying to promote science-based policymaking. I'm going to be very short because I know we're running out of time and people are probably hungry, wanting to go to lunch, but I just wanted to very briefly just kind of outline how we work. So some of you probably have heard, it's been talked about a lot in the past years, but there's this European Green Deal that has this very long-term strategy of making Europe a kind of a leader in sustainability and really becoming carbon neutral by 2050. And so we look at all these different policies, and what's really relevant for the plant sector in the shorter term is this farm to fork and biodiversity strategies that really make very specific targets of, for example, reducing pesticides by 50% or fertilizer by 20%, or even increasing organic farming by 25%. So we basically look at all these policies, and then we analyze what is the impact for the sector, what's the impact for the farmers, what's the impact for society as a whole for crop production in Europe, for example. And so then we outline basically does this actually mean on the ground? What's the consequences of such a policy? So if you have the Green Deal here, you can see on the left, and underneath you can see basically kind of a scheme of how things actually work compared to the romantic view of, yes, we want to become carbon neutral, we want to reduce pesticides. Yeah, that sounds all great, and we definitely support it. But how do you implement that on the ground? So you actually see different waves and things happening with different timelines. So really in the short term, in the coming years, and it's already started happening and will continue to do, really all the kind of value chain can do is reposition what's in the making. So what's really already on on the market, they can kind of put little sustainability labels, or you've seen this already, I'm sure, in many stores. And then in the more medium term, around 10 years, we see the first new innovations come to the market. And that's what we call kind of the low-hanging fruit. So really things that different companies, different stakeholders in the value chain have been working on, and they just kind of readjusted it to suit the needs. And then in the longer term, and now we're talking more along the lines of by 2040 or even 2050, we will start to see actual new innovations coming that's springing from dedicated research efforts. And it's very difficult to know now what the market will look like in 20 to 30 years. So we try to develop a foresight of seeing what might it look like so that companies can then start investing in the research and development, but also academics, of course, also start looking in the research and development that will be needed 20, 30 years from now. So this is something that's very difficult to do. And we try to do that together with our members, but also with our network, other value chain players. So in the more medium term, we have the target for 2030, and those are in a way easier to predict because we have very specific goals. We need to reduce pesticides or fertilizers and so on. So we can already kind of break that up and say, well, then we need research for this, and we need policies that enable this and that. But for 2050, it's more an uncertain future market, as I said, and we need de novo research. So it's very important that we really try to develop this foresight. So that's something that we do by developing strategic research agenda of outlining the needs for the sector. So I won't go any further, but basically we have our membership, as you can see, and we really try to outline the entire value chain. And we have strategic pillars that are innovation, research, and also education. So that's where we're very happy to be part of a project like this, and providing also kind of the bigger context of what research can contribute to on a global scale, and also providing benefit for society. So thank you very much. That's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, that was the last presentation, and I just would like to thank you all again for your time, for attending this meeting. And from now on, we continue working to launch the call, the first call of the rePLANT program. So that's all on our side. Thank you so much. We keep in touch.
Thank you to everyone. Keep in contact.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.